So I was trolling the internet as usual, and I came across something extremely interesting, a Jehovah's Witness dating website. Now my first thought was, this can't possibly be real. This can't be legit. So I decided to record myself going through it and see how legitimate I thought it was. Turns out it's pretty legit, but something that's nearly impossible to communicate about Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, Seventh-day Adventists, or any other religion is the culture. So I figured going through this website would give us a glimpse into Jehovah's Witness culture. Okay, let's get into it. I wasn't really sure which gender I should go with for the best results, but I decided to go with female. I filled out some information about name and address, and we got into the profile questions. Going through this, I decided to try to answer the questions in a way that would make me the most appealing to potential Jehovah's Witness suitors. I don't think height matters too much, but when it got down to body type, I noticed some interesting options. Slim, average, athletic, curvaceous, a few extra pounds, full-figured, large, or disabled. Disabled? That's a body type? I'm so confused by this. And then of course there's other. So we just went straight through the spectrum of possible body types, slim to not slim. And there's an other and a disabled option. I'm really not sure what to say about it. The next few options don't matter too much for the sake of being a Jehovah's Witness. I just put something generic down for looks, hair color, and eye color. But then we reach the lifestyle section. The first question in that one is relationship status. Now it's getting interesting. We've got a few choices here. Now those of you who've been watching me for a while know that Jehovah's Witnesses are only allowed to separate from a spouse under 3 circumstances, and they're only allowed to divorce under 1 circumstance. If their spouse cheats, they can divorce and they're free to remarry. If you get divorced but your spouse didn't cheat, the divorce isn't recognized within the church and you aren't free to remarry. As I said, you can separate from your spouse for one of 3 reasons. 1, if there's so much physical abuse that you fear for your life. 2, if there's physical willful non-support, like if they have money but they refuse to let you live in their house with them, or if they refuse to let you eat food or something. And 3, willful spiritual non-support, which means they're basically trying to sabotage you, trying to prevent you from going to meetings, trying to stop you from knocking on doors, that kind of thing. Jehovah's Witnesses will use that option a lot to separate from a spouse who got disfellowshipped. So looking at these relationship statuses again, we've got single, partnered, married, separated, divorced but free to remarry, widowed, and it's complicated. Honestly, there are 2 options here that confuse the hell out of me. I don't know what partnered or it's complicated mean. If it's complicated, you shouldn't be on a dating website as a Jehovah's Witness. If you're partnered with somebody of the same gender, then you aren't a Jehovah's Witness. Simple as that. But honestly, I think they put those options in just for searching purposes, to filter out people who aren't like-minded. We'll see more of that in a little bit. If you're widowed, getting remarried is acceptable within the religion. The next option is want children, yes or no. For the sake of being a Jehovah's Witness, this could be up in the air. There's nothing wrong with wanting children as a Jehovah's Witness, but I knew some people who didn't want to bring children into the system of things. They wanted to wait until after Armageddon, when Jehovah restored everything to a paradise. Also, you can't go to Bethel, their cult compound, if you have kids. But married couples can do lots of stuff together in the religion. Next one was daily diet. Interestingly enough, this is one of the ways in which Jehovah's Witnesses don't really control their people. Mormons are pretty heavy on controlling food and drink. Seventh-day Adventists, Heaven's Gate, People's Temple, aka Jonestown, and even Catholics control what people eat and drink to some extent. But Jehovah's Witnesses generally don't, outside of alcohol. You're allowed to drink alcohol, but you aren't allowed to get drunk. But we'll get into that option in a minute. The most interesting thing about these options under daily diet are the kosher, halal, and Hindu diet options. Again, I think this is for the sake of filtering people out. This website is for Jehovah's Witnesses, not Muslims, not Jewish people, not Hindus. The next option is drinking. As I said, drinking is acceptable, and actually you'll find lots of Jehovah's Witnesses use drinking as a coping mechanism to deal with the fact that they're in a high control religion. You aren't supposed to get drunk, but Jesus drank wine. Drinking is acceptable, but not in high amounts. Doesn't really matter though. There's a massive drinking problem in the religion. So you'll see the options non-drinker, occasional drinker, regular drinker, and heavy drinker. Then we've got a smoking option, which again seems like a way to filter out people who are less than loyal to Jehovah. I got down to the occupation section and thought about which occupation I could pick that would draw in the most guys. I figured being a woman, having little education, and working part-time as a window cleaner to support myself while a pioneer was such a stereotypical Jehovah's Witness thing to do. So that's what I was shooting for with these answers. Now we're getting into cultural characteristics. Something you'll find about Jehovah's Witnesses is they don't want to divide people by race or ethnicity or language or any of that. They want to draw the dividing line on insider versus outsider. So at face value, they seem super inclusive. I just put down any old country of birth. Since I'm in the US, I put the US. Next, we have the religion option. Again, this website is intended for Jehovah's Witnesses only. It's called jwmatch.com, so I'm surprised to find other options on here. Agnostic, atheist, Buddhist, Catholic, Orthodox, Protestant, Hindu, Islamic, Jewish, Sikh, spiritual but not religious, and other. Interesting options, probably also for filtering purposes. Of course I picked Jehovah's Witness. How else am I supposed to attract a good, God-fearing man who's willing to be the head of my household? I noticed that the serving as option was visible regardless of the religion I chose, which tells me it really is geared toward Jehovah's Witnesses. We've got publisher, auxiliary pioneer, regular pioneer, missionary, ministerial servant, elder, Bethelite, currently not serving or not applicable. Publishers can be baptized or unbaptized. I remember becoming an unbaptized publisher when I was like 8 or something. It was announced from the stage and everything. It basically means I'm allowed to go knocking on doors with people. Eventually I got baptized around 13, I think. Auxiliary pioneers log a certain number of hours per month knocking on doors, although if you're handicapped or something, you can do other things instead of knocking on doors. As long as you're talking to people about Jehovah every month, then you're in good shape. I know of some disabled people who do social media witnessing, where they get on Twitter and they insert themselves into conversations, start talking about Jehovah nonstop. Some write letters and mail them to people in the area. Some go through the phone book and do phone calling. Either way, I think auxiliary pioneers get about 50 hours a month. And you're only signing up for a single month. A regular pioneer does either 50 or 70 hours a month. I don't remember what it was when I was in it, and it might have changed since then anyways. But they basically sign up to do it for a full 12 months straight. They don't have special pioneer listed here, but I think they used to do 90 hours a month for a full year. Next they have missionary listed, which is a person who's actually on the Watchtower Society's payroll. They give them money every month and send them overseas to countries where, quote unquote, the need is great, to spread the news about Jehovah full time. Then you've got ministerial servant, which is basically an elder's assistant, then elder, which is pretty much a manager of the congregation. There usually aren't more than like 12 elders per congregation, depending on how big the congregation is. And finally, there's Bethelite, which is somebody who lives and works on the Jehovah's Witnesses cult compound. As a woman, I can't be a ministerial servant or an elder, so I put down regular pioneer. That's super desirable in a Jehovah's Witness girl. Knowing other languages is desirable as a Jehovah's Witness, so I put down Spanish. Next, I covered my own match preferences. What kind of Jehovah's Witness man am I looking for? Height isn't all that important to me. You can be a 4'7" man for all I care. None of the other stuff really matters, so I just chose options that would give us the widest variety. You know, part of this is kind of depressing, because I know there are lots of people on here who just want to find somebody who thinks the same way they do, and they never will. A lot of the time, Jehovah's Witnesses push this whole get married at 18 thing, because you don't want to risk fornicating with somebody. My brother and my sister both got married at like 18. I did too, actually, but by that time I was already out of the religion. Don't get me wrong, there are lots of people who wait until their mid-20s to get baptized, but it's usually because they're going to serve at Bethel, the cult compound. Past that, if you want to find somebody who's free to get married, then they'll either be widowed or they were cheated on or some other crazy life event like that. You just don't find single Jehovah's Witnesses lying around all willy-nilly. That's why it's genuinely sad to me that these people are having such a hard time finding mates. They waited too long, or they just lost the genetic lottery, or their kingdom hall just didn't have many girls in it. Or dudes. I feel for them. It's kind of heartbreaking. Anyways, now for the most interesting part. Filling out my profile headline and adding a picture. I put, looking for somebody as loyal to Jehovah as I am, as the profile headline. I figured that gives me the best chance of roping me a man. For why should people get to know you, I put God-fearing and loving. Enjoy cooking, long walks on the beach, and pina coladas. Also, I love to do family Bible study. Spreading the love of Jehovah to anybody I meet is on the top of my priority list. Under describe your ideal match, I put must be okay with being chaperoned throughout entirety of our relationship. Looking for a man to be the head of the household. Looking for a pioneer partner. Also must be okay with dogs. Next, I had to find a picture to upload, and since my girlfriend and I did this together, I decided to upload a picture of her. In hindsight, though, I realized that she has a nose and eyebrow piercing. Those are things Jehovah's Witnesses wouldn't normally have. No matter. It gave us a chance to take a look through a few profiles. The first thing I was looking for were how many people had beards on here. How many pictures violated some subtle rule. Because I found this subreddit recently that's basically set up for ex-Jehovah's Witness selfies. To the outsider, it might seem as simple as pictures of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. But on closer inspection, every single picture showed some subtle rule violation. Just take take a look at some of these. This one's a picture of a guy in a US Air Force jacket. Being in the military is against the rules. This one's of a dude with his husband. Being gay is against the rules. This is a picture of a cop. That's a government job, against the rules. This guy has a beard. This guy is wearing a wizard outfit. This girl is holding an I voted sticker. Voting is against the rules. It's hard to tell which rule is being broken in some of these at first glance. But if you read the title of this one, you'll notice it says, "What's everyone up to this Sunday?" This chick took her kids to Disney instead of going to the meeting or knocking on doors on Sunday morning. I love to see this kind of thing. I'm tempted to take a rule-breaking picture of my own and post it there. Just haven't decided what to do in the picture yet. Maybe I'll get a picture of myself standing in a room alone with a female. Anyways, as I was saying, when I was scrolling through these profile pictures, I was looking for any subtle cultural hints like that. A few caught my eye right off the bat. I saw some beards and goatees. Those are against the rules. But when I looked at the headlines, I got a clearer picture of why some people were here. Look, this guy's headline says, "I'm currently disfellowshipped." After I saw that, I started to realize that there are probably lots of disfellowshipped or unbaptized believers on this website who are looking for people who believe the same way, but are being shunned for one reason or another. Although I did notice that there are lots of people with headlines that say things like, "Looking for the one to build an eternal threefold cord with." First of all, that grammar is atrocious. Second, I was thinking to myself, is this dude into polygamy or something? What is this? Then I realized who the third person was. Him, his future wife, and Jehovah. He wants to get into a three-way with Jehovah. I went through more of this website, and I might actually put some of it on my podcast or something. It was super interesting, but in the end, I got an email from the website. I opened it and I gave it a read. It said, "Hi, as a result of contraventions of the site's terms of use, your JW Match profile, Telltale, has been permanently deleted. You will not receive any more email, singular email. I won't receive email from JW Match at this email address until you create a new profile at some point in the future. Regards, JW Match Support Team." Thank you, JW Match Support Team. I was sitting here trying to figure out why they deleted it. I guess it was probably because I realized it was fake. Maybe I should have used a fake email and username instead of going straight for Telltale. Like I said, the existence of this website is kind of depressing. The fact that these people need something like this in the first place is genuinely sad to me. On the surface, people might have this happy mask, but the repression and control involved in a cult like this leads to deep depression, pain, heartache, and loneliness. But you can bet when these guys are at the Kingdom Hall every week cleaning the windows, they've got that glassy, plastic smile plastered on their face while they do it. Anyways, that's all I've got for you. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, you can support me there. I also have a Teespring store. It's shop.telltaleatheist.com. You can also check me out on Facebook where I post my videos early. All links are in the description as always. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.